All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's Monday night. It's 8 p.m. So it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast, and that kicks off right about now.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us is a fascist, or that socialism will make everyone rich. You won't be gender affirmed or offered any opportunity to share your preferred pronouns. If this causes you any discomfort, please rest assured that we couldn't possibly care less. For everyone else, thank you, and please stand by.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This is without a doubt the best podcast on the internet. It's about to go down here on the Urban Conservative.
3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Monday night, 8 p.m., time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Of course, it's your guys, the TUC twins. I'm Raheem Architect Soto, joined by my twin brother, same mother. No other Abdul Ali is in the building. Happy Monday evening, sir.
Happy Monday evening to you, bro, and to everybody that supports what we do here at the Urban Conservative Podcast. We really appreciate all the likes, the shares, and we need to make sure we're building up that YouTube channel. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you give us a subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. What's good, bro? It's primary eve. A
I
lot
know,
of
and
good
you got
stuff.
a thing. You got a thing, and we're gonna get into that. While you got primaries, a lot of us around the country are getting into petition season. So shouts out to all of the local committees that are getting out there and putting some feet on the ground and getting to these petitions to get these candidates on the ballot. It is that season, and of course, big shouts out to what I have to say is probably one of the best GOPs in the country, the Suffolk County GOP. The machine is rolling out here. Shouts out to everybody on the East End. But petitions are upon us. And the crazy part is that we got to go out and it's like 3 feet of snow and it's still 20 degrees every day. So it's not like we're going to walk petitions in nice weather. So, if you doing it during this season up here, you really, really care about what's going on. So shouts out to all the volunteers. Shouts out to all of the people that get out there and put their feet to the streets and get these signatures in. So among that, it is primary season. But before we get into the whole primary thing, right? And obviously you're gonna get the plug, right? But I want to kick it
Sure.
off with New York. I want to kick it off in New York because we got some news today, as it were. And importantly enough, here in New York, like I said, we don't have primaries, right? We don't have any primaries in New York, but however, slash, and let me pull up the graphic real quick because you had me take it down. Let me pull up the graphic real quick and open that up. All right, boom. So the Supreme Court blocks the New York redistricting, and that is a win for the New York State GOP. The New York State map that was going to be redrawn. Now it is not. So, the Supreme Court stepped in and it blocked the lower court order that would have required the state to redraw the 11th congressional district, which is held by the woman you've seen on the screen, Nicole Maliotakis, Congresswoman Maliotakis. The district is Staten Island and parts of southern Brooklyn. So this is an urban district. This is his New York City district. Staten Island, shouts out to all the Wu-Tang affiliates in the building, all the Wu-Tang lovers. Staten Island, southern Brooklyn. And in January, New York State judge ruled that the existing map diluted, get this, diluted the voting power of Black and Latino residents in violation of the state constitution. That ruling could have
Wow.
reshaped the district in a way that made it more favorable to Democrats ahead of the 2026 elections. Maliotakis, who has represented the district since 2021, positioned herself as a law and order, tax focused Republican in a historically competitive district, quickly appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. She and other Republicans argued that the proposed redraw amounted to an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, which, in my opinion, would have been pretty accurate of a statement. The
Mm,
Supreme Court granted a stay. So that means the current map will remain in place while the case moves through New York's appeals court. The unsigned majority order was brief and did not explain its reasoning. Three liberal justices dissented, warning that the court is inserting itself into election disputes before state courts have finished their work. So, what makes this notable is that earlier this year, the court had declined, if y'all remember, to intervene in redistricting between Texas and California, which we're going to get into Texas when we talk about primaries. But remember, they declined to get involved when it came to
right.
Texas and California. So, meanwhile, we got the Louisiana voting map case is still pending, and the justices are reconsidering issues tied to majority minority districts and the Voting Rights Act. So, the bottom line for now is that she keeps her district as drawn. It's a
Mm,
little more than what I would call a procedural win. It's a momentum win, and I think that'll be a good boost, for Blakeman and everything going on. So, that's what we got going on in New York. Not primary material, right? But
right, right, right.
interesting nonetheless. I think interesting nonetheless for you guys to understand what's going on here in New York. Small wins, we'll take them where we can get them. So, do you want to go to commercial or you want to jump right in? What do you want to do?
Let's jump right in because I'm excited to talk about this. I think this is an interesting time now that we're talking about primaries, and one of the biggest primaries is going on is the U.S. Senate primary in Texas. You got your girl Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico on the Democrat side, and on the Republican side, you've got more candidates. You've got well, actually, and there's Ahmad Hassan on the Democrat side. Nobody's heard of him. He's got 1% in the Emerson College poll. But on the Republican side, you've got Ken Paxton, John Cornyn, Wesley Hunt, and 8% somebody else. Now, let me ask you this question, bro. Do you think Jasmine Crockett actually has a chance at winning this primary?
Okay. Yes, she has a chance. There's a chance. I mean, let's
Well,
just be honest. There's some statistical, mathematical chance that she could win. Sure.
all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Let's take a look at this real quick. This is, you take polls with a grain of salt, right? But it's kind of a snapshot here. This polling that you're seeing on your screen is done between February 26th and 27th, so not that long ago, just a few days ago. Between go. So James Tallarico sitting at 52%. Jasmine Crockett sitting at 47% among likely primary voters. That's an interesting dynamic. And according to this Emerson College poll, he holds a sizable advantage among voted early, 58 to 41. Crockett leads with election day vote, typically 50 to 39, suggesting the outcome will depend on which group shows up in larger numbers by the end of the day on Tuesday.
So she does have a shot. It's like it's not. Were you suggesting she didn't?
Here's what my thought is. I think Republicans hoping that she does win the primary. And I think Republicans want her to win the primaries because she is not going to be able to compete with Paxton, heck, or even any of the other guys. I don't think she makes it compared to Paxton or John Cornyn. I just don't see Texas going that blue. I just don't see it. Now, the one thing about the Texas primary, especially through this Emerson College poll, that I'm finding really weird, bro, is that Wesley Hunt result. What do you chalk that up to?
Um. Wow.
Yo,
Wow.
okay. So let me put it this way.
So
Let me
this
put
is
it
the
this way.
Republican primary for that Senate seat between Ken Paxton, John Cornyn, and Wesley Hunt. And right now, Wesley Hunt is not looking good.
even if you take that somebody else 8% and give it to Wesley Hunt, that still only puts him at what, 25?
Okay, so what's the question here?
Why? You know,
What
he
do you mean?
won a
Why? Ken Paxton has a bigger name than Wesley Hunt, and all right. So let me preface this by saying that when you're talking about these things, you have to be careful because we have to be honest. There's notoriety is involved, and whether I like or not like the fact that it's this way isn't the point when you ask the question. The point is why is he at 17%? Well, let's ask this question. Ken Paxton, does he have a larger footprint? Does John Cornyn have a larger footprint?
I would say
Clearly,
absolutely.
clearly they do.
I,
So
I would I would have to agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and as much as we love Wesley Hunt here, what can you say? Honestly, I'm just being honest. What can you say that he's done if I'm a Texan and I got to vote in this Republican primary? So my question becomes, what has he done for my district? What has he done for my Senate district? And maybe that's what some of these voters are seeing there. I don't know if we haven't looked at the campaign finance, so it could be a money issue. It could be a bunch of things, but I like Wesley Hunt. I think he's had some awesome moments on the floor.
Look at this.
Tomorrow is election day, and it is time to term limit a 24-year incumbent. Please, get out and vote for me because it's time to turn the page on the status quo.
So what is he now?
As the he's in the U.S. House.
Okay. So he's trying to keep
My
that
my
seat, correct?
No, he's trying to move from the House to the Senate.
That's what I'm trying to say. So he's a congressman right now.
He's a congressman. He's a representative in Congress. He's trying to move to the Senate side.
That's what I thought was going on. Okay. That may be why, because there's a wider net that needs to be cast there.
Now, Ken Paxton is the Texas Attorney General, so that kind of
Well,
you
that's right
have
now, but now
statewide name.
you've made that I made that point without even realizing that, like not even thinking about that fact right there. So that answers that 17% right there.
Now, Cornyn is the incumbent.
Right.
John Cornyn is the incumbent. But I think there's a sentiment, and we'll talk more about that when we get to North Carolina. But I do think there's a sentiment that these long-serving, lifelong politicians, at a certain point, you gotta go, come on. But let's do this though. Let's take a break in kind of for those who don't understand what a primary is and why it matters. First and foremost, you have to understand in the system that we have throughout the country, you've got Democrat, you've got Republican. Yes, you've got Green Party, you've got and like in New York, y'all have the Conservative Party, we have the Libertarian Party. And what a primary does is it allows the body politic of each party, the group of each party, to select their candidates that go into the general. Now, I am a fan of a closed primary, meaning if you're a Republican, you can only vote in Republican. If you're a Democrat, you can vote in Democrat. And if you're unaffiliated, you don't have a say so. I I don't know where you land on that, but I think if you're gonna have a vote in a party's primary, you should be registered with that party. That's just my thought.
Well, here in New York, the primaries are generally closed, meaning you have to be registered, like he said, with the party to vote in that party's primary. But there's a semi-open or what's called a hybrid system that's in place in some places where, you can pull a ballot across lines and you can do all kinds of weird things. But what a primary is basically the pregame, right? And in some cases, it could be detrimental for your side to have that level of infighting because what'll happen
Yeah.
when it becomes that. I like the idea of the primary in so much as that if somebody really, really believes they're the right person, I like that they have the opportunity to try to win over the people in that party. I like that. Some people don't like it. I think it's useful, when it makes sense. But the thought is that here, where you have these primaries, these are important. These are not, and I wonder if the votes on these are historically low or higher than what they'll be this year. That's one thing I'm definitely curious about, to see the turnout in these primaries. Y'all get in the comment section, let us know. Do you think we'll see high numbers in these primary elections, higher than previous years? Do y'all think people are more in tuned or tuned into what's going on with politics? So yeah, go ahead though. What were you saying with Texas? Where else were you going with that?
So the only other thing is with the Texas primary, I think the gift horse for Republicans would be Jasmine Crockett. I think if it's Tallarico, they're gonna have a fight on their hands because he comes across. Now we saw this in recently in Virginia. We're seeing this in New York City with Mamdani. He'll come across in some cases as a centrist, but in reality, they're going to govern from the far left. That's just the reality of it. And I think that's what's going to happen in Texas. But I just don't see Texas going blue. I don't see it. I don't
Well,
think
I
that's going
mean,
to happen
listen,
there.
we're at a time where the level of Trump derangement is beyond explanation. We would need a whole episode, and I think we should do one. Really,
Right.
really, just laying this out, because it's now gone into every. I had and let's just, not to go sideways here, but I belong to one of the local, town groups. Like, we care about our town type of groups. Everybody's in one, you
Right.
know. And so, there's these cameras that go up, like they look like solar panels, but they're cameras, right? It's just like a solar panel
You
and then a
talking about like
camera.
the live view kind
Yeah,
of
they're
camera thing, the
license plate
live
readers.
views.
They're license plates readers. So a gentleman
Okay.
asked in a Facebook post, "Hey, what are these, and what are they?" And tell me why somebody had to respond with, "You voted for Trump. You can't ask for what these are and his surveillance state." The world. It's like, whoa, these are standard license plate readers. Think about what it means that
Yikes.
your local municipal police or county said, "Hey, yes to these," and purchased them. You've tied this back to that's Trump data collecting. That's how far gone we are. So could I see Texas going blue? I can't. I want to say I can't imagine it, but unfortunately, people are out of their minds right now, bro. They
That's a fair point. That's a
right
totally,
now.
totally fair
I
point.
I want I
So
want you
so
to I
listen.
want you to consider something before we go to commercial. Just consider this before we
Mhm.
go to commercial, right? There should be
Okay.
some core simple starting points we should have across the aisle, right? We all want to live in a safe community. I don't think there's a libertarian Democrat, far left Democrat, far right Republican, middle of the. I don't think anyone you talk to will go, "Yeah, I want to live in a war zone crack filled community." Like, who says it? Bring us that person who wants to live in that. I'd love to interview the guy who wants to live in that community. Right. So generally speaking, all I'm saying is we all want that. We all want safety. We all want opportunity for our children. Right. That's fair. If you have
That's a
children and grandchildren,
fair
you
point.
want opportunity. And then finally, you want to be able to enjoy the labor of your hard work. So if you work hard and you want to purchase property, or you work hard and you want to get on your boat and take your family out and be able to do things safely, why can't we just stop right there? Like, how come we need more than that? Like, what's disagreeable about any of that?
I don't I nothing.
All right,
It
commercial,
shouldn't be anything.
commercial.
All right, go ahead. Do it.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to the Urban Conservative Podcast. Again, you rocking with us on a Monday night. We appreciate you all for rocking out with us. Make sure you get in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from so we could give you a shout out. Also, if you would like to advertise on our platform, please reach out to us. tuconservative@gmail.com. You can reach out or comment on this video. If you would like to reach out to our almost 100,000 visitors on our social media networks, please get at us and you can advertise with us. All right, what you got, bro? Because this is a big
All right.
It's a big one. Yeah. Plug a word. Come on now.
Yeah. No. Before we do that, I do want to tell everybody, yes, we do have a very big and very important U.S. Senate primary going down tomorrow, but I also have a primary. I will be on your ballot tomorrow. Abdul Ali for U.S. House District 12. Listen, folks, we got over 94,000 votes in the bluest district in North Carolina in light of having what will probably be the most expensive U.S. Senate race in our nation's history happening right here in North Carolina. We've got to make sure that here in the 12th district, not only do we hold the line, but we retire Alma Adams. And the way we do that is by continuing to have a common sense message about affordability, safety in our community, and improving early childhood education and outcomes. So if you haven't done so and you live or have friends in the 12th congressional district, which is the city of Charlotte, I would highly appreciate you telling them to support me in my run to become the Republican nominee for round 2 against Alma Adams. Plug done. Now we can get to this right here, which is going to be a massive race.
All right, hold
We're
on before
talking
you take
upwards.
off. Before you take off, I gotta say, I'm proud of you for that one. Number two, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't want the audience to miss this, right? The average people make time to get involved politically, right? We're doing it. I ran, my brother's running for Congress. You don't have to be from North Carolina to donate to the campaign and to support what he's doing and what we do here. I just wanted to make sure to reiterate that because some people will hear that and think, well, I don't live in Charlotte. That doesn't matter. Visit the website. If you can support the campaign, we need as much support as we can get because it's time to send this lady home. We need people that actually have a desire to do things. And again, we're real people. We've been doing this podcast for years. We y'all should know us by now and watch the development and the growth. So I just had to throw that in there, bro, because people are watching and I don't want them to think they have to be from North Carolina or Charlotte. Nah, it don't matter where you at. You go ahead and hit that link for us. All right, go ahead.
All right, now on to the biggin, which is going to be the North Carolina's U.S. Senate seat. Tom Tillis decided he is not going to run for reelection, which opened up this primary seat. Here's the interesting thing about this, right? And I'm just gonna ask you this because you don't live in North Carolina, right? Donald Trump came out and endorsed Michael Watley for the U.S. Senate seat. Michael announced and Trump came out and endorsed him. You know Watley, you've met him on a couple of different occasions, right? Now, if Watley has 38%, his strongest backing is coming from very conservative voters, 47%, Trump Republicans, 53%, and voters age 65 and older, 52%. Trailing him are Don Brown with 8.8% and Michelle Morrow with 2% and Thomas Johnson with 1%. If you're looking at this, and the Carolina Journal is the Carolina Journal, that's who did this poll. 38%, and the next person below them has 8%. How do you think that's going to go?
Yep.
I said, how do you think that's going to go?
I didn't hear nothing. You didn't see my private message. I had to go run to the restroom. I ain't hear none of that. I ain't even gonna hold you.
I I'll say it again. And matter of fact, what I'll do is I'm just gonna pull up the Carolina Journal poll page here. Republican primary for North Carolina's United States Senate seat. Watley has garnered 38% support. His strongest backing is coming from those who are very conservative voters. Trump Republicans with 53% and voters age 65 at 52%. Trailing him are Don Brown with 8% and Michelle Morrow with 2%, Thomas Johnson with 1%. How do you think that's gonna go with those type of numbers?
Listen, I will say this. One, super big shouts out to Watley, right? Always been a gentleman to us as far as I'm concerned, right? Um,
Fair?
to know somebody that was that intricate in the presidential victory that we just saw, to look at the skill set that Watley has had as a past leader of the party there and what he was able to get done. Um, I think those numbers bode very well for him. But more importantly, when we look at his integrity level and the level of know how to get this job done and to represent in the Senate, I don't think you have a better I don't see any of those other people as viable options. Those numbers bode very well for him. But I have to take everything with a grain of salt, man, because these numbers is, the numbers be numbering. You know what I mean? Like,
Here's the crazy, and this is why for ladies and gentlemen from North Carolina listening, that was Raheem. This is a duel. Let me say this: 52% are undecided in that poll
that's a
from the
lot.
Carolina
That could
Journal.
that could swing a
That
lot of
is a
different ways.
lot of different
So
ways.
am I comfortable? Am
And
I comfortable saying our guy got it in the bag? No. No. Am I confident that he'll win? Yes, but that's a lot of wiggle room for that. If we take that poll to have any value, that's a lot of wiggle room, no?
no, that's a lot of wiggle room. Here's the other thing, and you're gonna lose your mind when you see this. I didn't tell you I was gonna cover this with this primary poll that they did. The same group of people were asked about statewide Republican officials. Listen to this. State Supreme Court Justice Paul Newby, 19% favorable, 6% unfavorable, 29 had percent no opinion. 47% of the people they polled had no idea who the state Supreme Court Chief Justice is. The state auditor, 18% favorable, 4% unfavorable, 32 no opinion, and 46% of people they polled never heard of the state auditor, never heard of the state treasurer, and 45% never heard of the labor commissioner. That is scary to me.
Well, I mean, think about it. People don't know who their city council person is. They don't know who their tax
Nah.
receiver is. They don't know who their county comptroller is. Do you think they know who the highway and the what do you call it, superintendent of highways is? You think they care? You
No,
think they
I
care
don't.
who the assistant DA is? I mean, they should though. In theory, they should care. As a taxpayer, as a citizen, you you should care. But I think and then we don't have time to go down this rabbit hole right now. But I think that that's been done purposefully. Because we was at a point where it was like, I'm just a bill. And then you
That's
learned.
right.
And so I'm just saying, we went from that to we didn't know no politics.
I don't even be voting, cuz. I don't even be voting.
Come now,
Oh
come on
gosh.
now. What you mean vote for
Ladies
B?
and
Why
gentlemen.
we voting B? You know they ain't going. Man, come on. You know them. You know them. You know. You know them. You know. You know. Yo, I didn't even want to say it,
I'm
but you know
done.
what they do, right?
Yeah, no, it's
So
just
you
terrible.
them crackers ain't gonna let you have nothing. Why you voting for?
Yo,
We really deal with
I
this. We
had to
really.
point out to somebody. No, I had to point out to somebody the other day because we're running ads for the campaign or whatever. And his brother, he goes, "You think them white people gonna allow you in the Republican Party with a name like a dual Ali?" And I was like, "You mean they've already elected me a county chairman. They've already elected me a district chairman. I've already served 2 terms on the Cabarrus GOP executive committee and 1 appointed term on the executive committee. I've already sat on the state party central committee. You mean those people
Oh,
aren't gonna
you
let
mean
me
you
serve?"
mean and then like, oh, but you do realize it. Like, I'm a vice chair. I'm a county committeeman. I'm a state committeeman. What did I call you this morning to say? I'm the alternate delegate. Like, uh, but that's why I say that, because what happens is that, really seriously, folks, um while we're laughing and joking about this, the serious thing is that these people don't know that who these people are that are in positions of governance. So this is why you see such a low voter turnout, and that's what we're working to fix, because at the end of the day, you have to feel a sense of responsibility. If you don't care, that your communities will reflect the lack of care. Your
Oh,
leader.
and look, they're dealing with it now in Charlotte with this 77 Highway 77 expansion. They're about to move people around. And the funny part is you got the Black Political Caucus now about to sue the very same politicians that they just endorsed to get reelected. Go
Well,
figure.
well, well, because you gotta remember something, and we'll kind of wind it down on this, but if you don't care, right? If you don't make time to be involved with the governance of the community that you're a taxpayer in, right? Then the people with less than noble intentions will rule the day. They will make the decisions, and they're going to make less than moral decisions. They're going to make less than amenable decisions for the greater good, and it becomes more personable. There's YouTube videos that you could pull up, and you could pull up one now of a city councilman who got pulled over, and you should try to find it. He's like, "Don't you know who I am?" Like, that's why he ran for city
Oh.
council, so he could do
Oh,
that.
you heard about the mayor of Baltimore spent like $800,000 or some craziness
Yeah.
while people are living in poverty? It's bananas. But ladies and gentlemen, that is why we do what we do here at the Urban Conservative. That's why we're so engaged and involved. We want to lead from the front. We want to be the example for folks in our community to see that you can be a regular person and involved and engaged and make an impact. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let us know if you have a primary going on where you are. Jump in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the Texas and the North Carolina primaries and who you got in them
Yeah,
primaries.
hold on.
But
I
again,
gotta
thank
I gotta share this real quick before we go. Hold on, let me see something. Is this it? You got audio on that?
You thought you knew what you needed.
Hey,
it's a
skip.
commercial.
We ain't gonna watch the whole thing. Just watch. This is what happens.
There's nothing playing. Oh, there you go.
What are you pulling me over for?
For traveling 45 miles per
I'm
hour
not
under
driving
25
miles.
Okay,
I see you coming.
I need your license,
I see you
please.
coming.
I need your license, please.
What are you pulling me over for?
I just
I
explained
want
to
to.
you.
I want to see what you pulled me over.
That's it. Okay.
Where's your gun that you said
I
was
don't need to
145?
show you. So
yes,
if
you
you-
do. Yes,
No,
you
I
do.
don't.
Yes, you do.
Sir.
So you was at the stop sign. I seen you
Yeah.
with the cop.
Yeah.
And I was coming down. I slowed down.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you said I was going 45 miles per hour.
So the speed laser that we use can see up the hill, and as you took the bend, coming in.
Yeah, I love how they be looking confused. They looking super confused. The cop talking to him. Yeah, but we ain't got to go through all of this. I just was saying like that, and y'all pull up that video. Do you know who I am? I got you your job. You know who I like. Like, yo, these are the people y'all don't like.
Oh,
Yeah, he went all the way there.
yeah. Yo, you know what you're really supposed to do in that situation? Here's my license. Here's my registration, officer. Look, I was on my way. I was moving a little too quick. My bad, bro. That's how you That's literally how you handle that, man. But again, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think in the comment section. Let us know what you're going to do with this primary tomorrow. If you're in Texas or you're in North Carolina, let us know who you're supporting. We may go live from a watch party tomorrow night. So stay tuned right here on the Urban Conservative. We're live each and every Monday night. For my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, I'm Abdul Ali. This has been the Urban Conservative Podcast. Peace and love, y'all.